It's me, and if you've got a lucky ticket, then congratulations to you. Johnny, good evening to you, mate. A long time coming, 2 more sleeps.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to everyone who did get a ticket. You've got the golden ticket, and I hope you were running around the lounge room singing that. It's after, what is it, 18 months now since you've been able to go to the footy. I just really feel great for all the people who have got a ticket. I'll be down the Noosa Tiger Football Club, just watching it down there, having a couple of beers on the screen that they've just bought, which is larger than life, and you can probably see it from the moon.
G'day, Norm, down in Maryborough. Brendan Whitford, g'day, mate. Thank you for joining us. Julian Muscat, really appreciate you jumping on board. Tanya, thank you for coming on board. Let's get this party started, she says. Yes, everyone's up. That's a good one. I haven't got a ticket yet, so I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'll sleep with anyone, anything. Anyone needs
a ticket.
That's a point. Back in the day, I might have too. I'll give a kidney. I'll donate a stomach. I don't know. I'll do anything to get a ticket. So my last chance is tomorrow with Ticket Tech giving it to Carlton away members. So I've got a chance then.
Yep, I hope you get one, mate, because I want to see a live cross from the G. I can't be there, so I want to see a live cross.
Brooklyn Lindsay, g'day. Brooklyn, Elise McClymont, g'day, Elise. I'm happy you're recovering nicely with your hand injury. Scotty Nolan, g'day, Scotty. Thank you for coming on board. You beauty, countdown is on. Countdown to the first win, he says.
Yeah, I like that.
We're all up and down, aren't we? Now it's just it's a level playing field. The expectation is high. We expect a lot. Things could change in 2 days, but it's just right now. It's just it's great to be back and great to have footy back, and it's a shame it's going to be 50%. I think the justification behind not increasing hasn't been really there. To me, I think 50,000, 75,000. What's the real difference? And they're going to go to that the week after. So that's disappointing because we want as many blue baggers there, of course, as we can.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But it's if it's going to save this save it from outbreaking again, then we just I don't have to cop it, but the people down in Melbourne just have to cop it. Hard to take and easy for me to say, I know.
Going to be a very good show, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking forward to engaging with you, getting your team selections through. We're going to give our team selections. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to seeing, particularly on Thursday night, what you're not looking forward to seeing on Thursday night. I think we'll all know the answer to that. Whether you've gleaned anything from our previous 2 games against the Saints. Who else do we play? And the Scum. Whether you saw anything out of that you liked, that you didn't like. Obviously, both of those 2 games are really fast-paced games. Do you think that's going to suit us, mate? The way that style of play is going to play out.
I think it will. It depends on opponent. If you're playing against a Geelong at Marvel, for instance, we might be a really, really good chance there. But as we saw against St Kilda, they're probably better at it than we are at Marvel. So it's really going to be horses for courses. But I don't see it going too far into the season. 1, just fatigue, and 2, just pressure will come in. That Saints game, with bruise-free footy pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't really do much defensively. I think that was just a strategy to do that. There was, there's no hard lockdowns on any players. It was more about getting touch and movement and ball movement and position and movement and patterns more than anything. So you were never going to see, any real, defensive structures come in play into those 2 games. That'll take place, no doubt, on Thursday night. It'll be interesting to see how Tiki reacts in certain situations. if we do get into a situation where we're behind, he traditionally likes to back in our structures and back in ourselves to get back in the game. We know that, we can't afford to get too far behind oppositions these days because it's a long way back. And if it's fast free footy, then it's definitely going to be a long way back.
Yeah. Look, I think he's got to be a little bit more proactive in his changes this year. I think if we get to mid-season and we're not going so well and we're still just, trying to back into our structures when they're not working, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. So,
yep.
But saying that with the talent that we've got, I've said this before, your back six, back seven remains pretty much the same, and then the rest of the ground is pretty much interchangeable, apart from rucks. But rucks can change with the forward. So, he's got a lot of cards to play.
We've got a few comments coming in, mate. Make sure you get all of our amazing audience on the screen. Jason Allen, g'day, Jace. Let's do this. Enjoy the highs and ride out the lows. Brendan Whitford says we've got a game against the Filth in round 2. Then a massive crowd for that. That's 100% for sure. It wouldn't be nice to go into that game after a win. Paul Quixley, g'day, Paul. Getting exciting now. If you're like me, you won't sleep, or I'm on American time at the moment, so I'll just be. If I do get a ticket, I'll be definitely up and about. Andrew Lake, g'day, Andrew, our resident champion expert of all things Carlton and all things knowing. He says he thinks the G will suit the style we are trying to create, and I 100% agree with him. I think that the wide open spaces of the G will definitely suit what we're trying to do. And I don't know about you, but I really noticed a marked increase in our skills, our targets. We're hitting on against the Saints and the Filth. The run and carry we want to bring. We've obviously brought in those players that can do that. We want to get it forward. So I think Andrew's right on the money there.
Yeah, the only thing that hasn't changed for me in the pre-season so far is a shit delivery inside forward. That hasn't changed. Just kicking at the top of the goal square, and you've got 2-3 tools just standing there in the same position, stagnant, and try and take a mark. It's it just rebounds straight out with a team like St Kilda, and it's down the other end for a goal.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And the players that I think that can assist in rectifying that with the delivery into that forward line are players like Murph. I think Zach Williams was one of those players that we knew that was going to be able to do that in terms of hitting targets and lowering his eyes. We saw some really good forward entries by Paddy Dow in those games. Obviously, Sard was also another one that we know that can deliver the ball really well. So I think it's, we're going to be relying on those players to drop their eyes and just, stick it out in front of the likes of Harry and Levi. And, they're not going to be stopped on a lead. They're just not.
No, that's right. Yeah, I fully agree with you there. But we've just got to drop the eyes, and not only that, but the forwards have to lead at the ball carrier.
What did work well is Cripper getting back and Pitnet getting back. He can take a grab and kick a goal, which is great. So
I love him up forward. I love him up forward, Pitnet, because he's a mongrel. He just crashes packs. He puts his knees in. You don't want to stand in front of him, because you'll come out the wrong side of it.
Yeah. No, I think it's a bad result for Tommy the King not to be able to be selected, but I maintain that Pitnet is a fair bit ahead of him, and Tommy's got a lot of work to do. Not a lot of work to do, but work to do, and he'll get his chance, no doubt, at some stage during the year.
I just want to touch on this one because it's a wonderful point from Brooklyn. What are your thoughts on the new rule for standing the mark, and do you think it will affect our gameplay against Richmond? If I may start, I've saw a few pre-season games, and I don't mind the rule, actually. I think it's a really good one. I think the players have adapted really, really quickly. I think the fear is still there that, if it cost a team the game or cost a team a fine or a 50-metre penalty just for moving an inch off the mark, I think that there will be, AFL House will be absolutely destroyed. But the players adapt quickly, and they've done really well. What I did really like is, that players would stand the mark, and that they also almost wait for a starter's gun, being the whistle. And as soon as the whistle goes, they're off, and there's really no change. In the first practice game that we played, I thought it was against Essendon, I think it was extremely interesting that the rule was detrimental to the flow of play, insofar as that the umpires were using it almost like the time on rule. So if they've blown time on, obviously you can't run and play on. And the umpires were using it like that. So there were a number of times where the ball actually had to come back to the spot where the free kick was called, which totally defeats the purpose of the rule being out there in the first place. You want to encourage the flow of play. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes through the year. But against Essendon, I also had to take my hat off to Adam Sard. He's worked the rule out already. There was one occasion there, I think it was in the second quarter. Memory's really, really testing me here, but he took the mark and the opposition player came up to the mark and he pointed at the ground and looked at the umpire, and the opposition player for a split second looked at the umpire and Adam was off, and he was 5 metres ahead before the player turned around and he's gone.
He's potentially going to induce a 50-metre penalty to be paid, because they'll just be trying. It'll just be a natural reaction to try and make a step to try and catch him, because he is that fast that if he's got that step on you, you're never gonna get him.
Yeah. Look, they will, and it will also be the speed of the players going past too that'll make those on the mark flinch.
Yeah. Look, they're calling the rule the anti-Richmond rule, and that Richmond were very clever in exploiting the way that they used the man on the mark to sort of block the corridor. We know that we'd like to use the corridor a lot more. We know that we're really, really good when we straighten up and we head down the guts. We've got obviously a good spine and those good tall timbers up there when we use it. So it will hopefully work to our advantage, and I think we've got the players to exploit it, particularly our good running brigade. It's just going to be a mental thing for the players. Just to there'll be 50s. There'll no doubt will be 50s. It's just happen, and it will look really, really ugly in certain cases. And my hope is it doesn't ruin the game.
It will. I see it more as a problem in the opening stages of the game, where players are just so G'd up and ready to go that the nerves will kick in, and the instincts will just be wanting to stop without thinking, and I think that's when it will occur, or when the game's really, really tight and nervous.
Yep. Just a point to your statement about the delivery in the forward line. Andrew makes a good point about Levi coming in will straighten us up a bit. We had a bit of a patchwork forward line, obviously, with Harry going down, and I thought the Saints game was a really good game. They're going to be a contender again this year. They gave us a touch up in the season proper last year. They've got some good players in. It was a really good test for us, that Saints game, and I think we're going to have similar game styles. Watts is a hyper aggressive coach, and he's got the players to match it now. So I think there's going to be synergies between us and St Kilda. So it's a good hit out for us.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how St Kilda go with their run-on game when they get absolutely smashed through the middle. I think that was their real Achilles last year, even though I didn't see a lot of their games. It'll be interesting to see again how they come up against a real physical team like a Richmond or a Geelong.
What else did you take away from, I suppose, in particular, the St Kilda game? There's obviously a few players that didn't get a run. Kennedy was one of those players. Gibbons didn't get much of a run. I don't know if he got a run at all. That probably gives some indication of where selection's heading for Thursday night. Yeah,
I think that'll be as close as possible. Is a line-up against St Kilda? Yeah, you're right there. Because they don't get the chances to do pre-season games. So that last game is as close to a dress rehearsal as you have.
Yep. Frank Kossenberger, good evening, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Cheekily watching from work. I'm sure your boss won't mind, mate. In fact, you should get a raise for watching us. That's what you should be getting. John.
Thanks to Frank. Hang on, before we go on, thanks to Frank and Simone for starting up the Western Bar. If you haven't seen that, that will start up again next week. The Western Bar is a West Australian version of Carlton Live. Absolute crack up. You've got a brother and sister combination who just take the piss out of each other and have a really good time. Look at the lighter side football. So stay tuned for that next Monday around 7 p.m. West Australian time.
Look, they're no Trevor and John, but they had a crack. They did a fair job, I must admit.
Yeah, it was good. It was really entertaining.
Good stuff. Question from Paul Quixley. Will JSOS play Thursday night? Your thoughts? No doubt. I think we had a show a few weeks ago, maybe, where we talked about breakout players and who we expected to have a good year. My player back then was JSOS, so I was really excited to see what he did against St Kilda. He's the working man's McGovern. He gets it done, and I think he's a really, really smart and good addition to our side. He adds. He's still slightly built, but he adds that hardness. We know he can take a good grab. We know he's got some footy smarts. He needs a bit more strength, and I think that looks like he's got that in his game this year. But JSOS will definitely play, and I've got him starting on. We'll get our team shortly, but I've got him starting on a half forward flank for mine.
Yeah, okay. I agree with everything you just said, except that he's a walk-up start, because Levi's got to come in, and someone's got to go out for him.
You will hear have you got a team you're going to share with us later? Because I've certainly got one.
I do not, but we'll have a look at yours, and then I'll have a look at my alterations that I would. Apologies, I've been flat out busy. Haven't been able to put one together. I really wanted to before today, but didn't get a chance.
I think this is one for you, mate. Any chance Roy Orbison will be making an appearance tonight?
Only if I see a pretty woman.
Pretty woman walking down the street, pretty woman, you know you leave me. Anyway, it's your. I think you're talking about the dark glasses, mate.
Yeah, no, it's fully dark outside here now, so there'll be no need for the sunnies.
Okay, I might get into my team, I think, and I think I'd love to hear everyone else's team. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Good point by Andrew Lake. But before we do, can we just do a little bit of an advertisement and break the big news? The big news.
Okay.
This will give you a chance. I'm helping you out here, mate. This will give you a chance to get the tech organised to put the team up. But the big news is next Tuesday night, 7:30 Melbourne time, 6:30 p.m. Sunshine Coast time, and 4:30 West Australian time. We are going to have one of the greatest guests that we will have had so far. We love this bloke. If it wasn't for Bruce Dool being so grouse as a kid, I would have had the number 4 on my back. And yes, that's right. This time next week, we will have the one and only Peter the Buzz Bazzusto on the show. So cannot wait. Had a chat to him on the phone. Absolute cracking guy. Knows his football. I don't think there's anyone more passionate about the Carlton Football Club. So get on board.
No, mate, that's fantastic, and all credit to you. It's been a champion effort to get the Buzz on our show. We've wanted to have him on for quite a while. I know he's a hero of mine growing up, and he's definitely a hero of yours. And no doubt he'll be a name recognised by all of our guests and all of our audience as being a champion Carlton footballer. And well done to you, mate, for organising that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a chat to the Buzz about footy and life, and of course we'll be taking some questions from our audience, and it's going to be a really, really good show. Can't wait.
Yeah. Look, he's got extremely well versed views on the game of football today, and then the parallels with when he played. So it's not only going to be entertaining, but you're going to learn a lot. I tell you.
If it's anything like our interview, it's going to be a cracker. I know Buzz is a cracking bloke, and he's not short of anything to say. So I can't wait, and hopefully everyone will be able to join us next Tuesday night, and it'll be even better after a good win, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've got him for next Tuesday because I wanted to bookend him between the two biggest rivalries of when the Buzz was playing, so we can talk about Richmond and how they're going now and how we performed against them and what the rivalry was like with Richmond. On our phone call, he talked a lot about Richmond, but also with the week coming next week, what the rivalry was like with Collingwood at the time as well. So. I can't wait. It's probably, going to be like the Wow Jones one, where we get to the pre-show meeting. We're sort of thinking, how's this going to go for an hour, and it ends up going for about 3, and you could probably do a follow-up episode.
Okay, before we get into my team and everyone else's team, let's hear from our amazing audience who we've loved and missed. That's for sure. Rob Neely, go Rob. This first game against the Tigers is a litmus test for our year. If we don't win, can we make the finals? Well, yeah, one loss in round one doesn't screw our finals chances up. We saw that last year. We lost round one, and we if things went our way towards the end of the year, we could have scraped into 8. So it's not a litmus test for our year, but what I think it is I think it's going to be an amazing. Well, to win would just be the confidence that our young blokes need to know how to win and to win. I think winning is so important for our team this year. Mentally, I think they need to know they can win and win well. It's the difference between the teams these days is shortening every year. So to be mentally on and to win and have that confidence boost is a really important factor, I think. So winning and winning is the best result, of course. That goes without saying. But for us in particular, I think getting off to a good start is just going to see us set up a really good opportunity early days.
Yeah, look, that's well said. I think it is a bit of a litmus test. I think that these guys, they're the team to beat. There's no doubt about it. They're that far above everyone else, or have been in the last few years. That they're going to be the team to beat again. Round one, let's see where we are situated for the rest of the year. It's going to be a really good benchmark for us. If we lose or win, I'm interested to see how we do it. If we get absolutely smashed out of the clearances and we still bomb the pill forward ridiculously, and we haven't learned any lessons, then that's when I'll start to get really, really savage next week, I think. But if we start to look like that we've addressed our shortcomings, win or lose, I think that's going to put us in really good stead for the rest of the season.
Yeah. And that probably makes a point that you're trying to say, I think, in general, is that probably the biggest test is not any of the 22 out on the ground, but potentially the bloke that's upstairs and how he controls things and how he controls the narrative and how he runs the game and reacts to what we're going to do within games. Last year we saw some really good tactical things happen with Teague in the box, and then we saw some really strange, from the observers and supporters' point of view, strange things where there was sort of no reaction to what we thought was a clear opportunity to bring someone back or to put a tag on or to slow the game down, but it was maybe an overconfidence in us doing what we needed to do. But I think Teague in the box is probably just as important as the 22 out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that leads into the elephant in the room. Really, we had a bit of controversy. I think it was yesterday where Caro said, pretty much. We'll be moving on to Alistair Clarkson, or words to that effect. Look, as much as I don't really rate her sensationalist journalism style, I I do, pose a question that if we don't make finals this year, do we start looking around? And I think that we have to. If we don't make finals, I don't see that happening. I think that we've got a good enough team, good enough coach to make finals. But if we don't, I just think by the nature of the game, it is a success-built business, success-built league. We have to look around.
I'll take the opposing view of that and even just try and squash the conversation altogether. You hit it on the head. Sensationalist, footy classifieds back on. They need to make some headlines. To be even contemplating or having a discussion about getting rid of coaches and bringing coaches in before the whole season's bounced is I think that's utterly ridiculous. Those conversations are had during the season as your results pan out. Every year we see something happen. A team will start 6-0, and then there'll be someone out for their head, and then they'll win the next 4 or 6 or 7 of the heats on that. It's all about trying to make headlines and make claims that usually don't come true. I just think the conversation is a ridiculous conversation to have right now.
Oh, look! To make those grand statements, it is completely ridiculous. But the train of thought is correct in terms of if we don't make finals, then questions are going to be asked, and that's across the club, and we will start looking at options.
You're right, and particularly the supporters will be asking those questions. The plan has come to a point where now it is time to put up. We've heard it from the club themselves that there's no excuses. So you're right, it's the time to put up. Brendan Scott, can you change time so it doesn't clash with maths? Well, I don't know about our audience, but I think our audience is probably a bit bigger than maths. But I heard a sneaky word, Scotty, that you might be on it next year, putting your hand up. Is that true? If that's the case, then we'll have to change our time slot to make sure that we fit in with that.
In my day, maths was just called arithmetic.
Yeah. They had a bisexual guy on there last night, apparently, and I didn't know what that meant. I thought bisexual was how many times married men got to do it in a year. Birthday and birthday.
Oh yeah, that's one of your finest, mate. One of your finest.
Thank you very much. Where's my wife around? My ex-wife, I mean. Okay, John says Blues top 8. We do have the players, and the players they have will be which on our shooting for goals last year still a problem. All right, let's get into my team. I've put a lot of thought into this over the last 365 days. And I'm disappointed, obviously, like we all are, Williams isn't playing. I think he was very, very close to getting off. I don't know what your thoughts were on that one, Johnny. It was a silly thing to do. Didn't look good. The fact of the possibility to cause injury was probably the undoing of him.
Yeah, but I was 100% along with your post on our Facebook channel because and Gerard Whateley, love him or loathe him, is absolutely by the book. And I was with this as well. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It does not matter what it looks like. It is about those criteria that are set out, and it was graded as reckless and not intentional, and it was graded as medium impact. Now, medium impact is where I reckon we should have got off on that, because the player got straight up, played the rest of the game, had a blinder of a game, which to me signals low impact. And there would be precedent out there to show the difference between low impact and medium impact. We've done it for enough years now. So I was absolutely staggered that the suspension was upheld. Absolutely staggered.
Yeah, there's another clause somewhere in there that says that the potential to cause harm is given some weight. I didn't pay too much attention to what that clause said and where it was, but apparently that's in play. Which again, is every contest within the game of footy, to me, has got the potential to cause harm. So
right. Yeah.
So yeah, the bloke got up and played. It was an ugly thing. It was a stupid thing for him to do. He was getting some cobwebs out. Could have easily gone. He could have easily got him a bit more flush, and he could have knocked him out. In which case, he could have got 2 or 3 weeks. But you've got to go with the facts, and the facts were no concussion, played the game, move on, give him a fine.
Yeah, I think so.
And you're right. A few people have said it'll happen again during the year, and there'll be conflicting stuff. It will happen. The AFL's full of contradictions and conflict about the MR match review. It's pretty shit.
This is an interesting one. I'd love for Andrew to go into that a little bit more. I don't watch AFL 360 anymore because that started off as really good analysis and just turned into Caro crap.
Yeah, Robbo's losing the plot. He's got a beanie's bonnet over our Adam Sard get, I've got no doubt, and he's going after us any way he can.
Yeah, but they started as completely against us. Sensationalism, or at least Jared was there to balance it out. Now Jared's getting more sensationalist than anyone, so it's really not working for me.
Scotty Nolan is having a crack at you, not me, because he's saying give it 4 to 6 weeks before making coaches on players. Rewind the tape, Scotty. It was Johnny. He's the sensationalist one, not me. Always trying to make it. Trying to agree with Caro every chance he gets.
Oh, look, it's all about pre-season predictions, but it's what the caveat that I said to that is if we don't make finals, and I think if we don't make finals, everyone would agree that it's a wasted season. We really are in that hitting that prime spot now. We're recruited to have a crack at it. If we don't make finals, it really does, raise a few questions.
We will make finals. I've just said it right there and then. There'll be no doubt we'll make finals. We'll finish 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I'm saying 6th.
Last year I made a bold statement I'd get a tattoo if we won round 1. I don't know about this year. The tattoo parlour's open.
Nah, save it for a premiership.
Shannon Gore, good evening. She says she's late footy training. No worries, Shan. Our awesome partner in crime of the Heatley end. Hopefully footy training went well for you, Shan. Looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night as you, you probably won't be on Thursday night because we're playing.
Yeah, I think they'll be on Wednesday, but we'll wait to hear from Shannon and Nick on that. Just a massive plug to them too. They did a wonderful job and continue to do a wonderful job with the show called The Heatley End. If you haven't seen it, get on board with it. It's their analysis of the game and what happens with the cheer squad and so forth is second to none. And their knowledge of the AFLW is better than anything that you'll see on Foxtel. It really is.
They're a good balance, aren't they, for a Carlton Live? Because we just talk crap and drink beers, and they actually get into some real substance and talk some reasonable stuff about footy.
Yeah, they're actually good.
I actually know what they're talking about.
What's the old saying? Fake it till you make it. We've been faking it for 5 years.
At least we're consistent. We did say to ourselves we'd be a little bit more organised this year, and what happens? 7:31 comes along, and we're still doing sound check.
Hey, I had an excuse for being late. I just anyway. This is great news. My eldest daughter has just started playing AFL, so I was just driving her back home from training, and obviously it's 6:30 here, so it was just cutting it a little bit fine. But you got no excuse.
Oh, geez, thanks very much. Okay. Has anyone got a ticket for Thursday night? What can I do to you or for you to get that ticket? Do you need anyone to be made disappeared accidentally? We can arrange that. Do you need a new kidney or a new piece of liver? Happy to oblige. Let us know. I'll be scrounging around for a ticket to tomorrow if something doesn't come through.
So let's talk about this for a second, Anthony Walsh. Spot on the money here, but I'm not talking about the players that he's named. If you're looking at being a finals team or a premiership team, it's about your bottom 5-6 players, isn't it, in the team, and how good they are or how not good they are that sees you as a contender. And if those are the guys and who are the bottom 5, then yeah, you're absolutely right. They need to step up and they need to be, part of the team that is a finals team. If they're not, then we've got enough talent out there to bring someone else in.
Spot on, Anthony, and spot on, John. It's a consistent effort we need from those bottom players that we've had there at that point now when they've got those games under their belt, they've got those pre-seasons under their belt. No more can we just see a flash in the pan, game here or there and give us glimpses of what they can be. Now it needs to be week in, week out where these blokes need to perform. And that's what you need to do at AFL level to be consistent. That's why we've said time and time again, it's why, Richmond and Geelong and those kind of teams are up there because they've got a consistent 22 that perform and they bring those extras in and they do the same job as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it one step further. It's not only week to week, but it's quarter to quarter. We can't have those. We will not win a finals game or a premiership coughing up 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in a row. Just won't happen.
Yep. And part of that right now is having that list that's there in play, and part of that is also having an aligned VFL team that is there with players pushing up to make sure that that they're knocking on the door, and if players aren't performing, it's see you later. It's no mercy. It's not Mr. Miyagi when he comes to doing the honk on the nose. They've got to go and follow through.
Yeah, and Shannon Gore, I don't think I've ever seen, someone so against Cunningham. And she says, yeah, Cunningham for me needs to perform. She's gonna go crook in a minute.
Cunningham won't be playing, Shannon, on Thursday night. I hope to tell you. So it'll be hard to perform. He can perform in the twos to see if he gets up, but he won't be playing. Okay. Let's go with my team, and you can take this to the bank, this team. From the back line, we have Doc, Jones, and Simpson. No, we haven't got Simpson. Jesus. It hurts not to say Simpson, doesn't it? He's not going to be there anymore. Okay. Doc, Jones, and Plowman. Half-back. Sard, Wietering, SPS. Followers, Pittenay, Walsh, and Cripps. Centre, Williamson. Oh, shit. Why have I got him in there? I've screwed up my team. Okay, I've screwed that up. Centres, Williamson and Setterfield on the wing. Half forward, Murphy, Levi, and Martin. Full forward, JSOS, Harry, and Fisher. And on the interchange bench is Ed, Dow, Nunes, and Betts. Now, I've screwed up because I've still got Williams in that side. But in for Williams, I have coming in is Bam Bam. On nose ahead of Gibbons.
There you go. Yep.
The reason I've got Bam Bam in is I think he gives that extra versatility in terms of size-wise up forward if something may go untoward with Levi or Harry. Gibbons obviously is that extra potential small forward, but I think we've got that covered in Fish, Jesus, and Eddie down there. So yeah, interesting to see what everyone thinks of that side. I don't think I've got emergencies as Cunningham, Brian, and Fogarty. Fogarty could get a chance, but I think they'll play. I think they'll play Eddie Betts.
Yeah, okay. Is Nick Newman up for selection, or is he still?
He's a few weeks away.
Yeah, so that was the only question mark I pretty much had on that. To be honest, it's a fair team.
Yeah, Murphy half forward. I think he's going to be awesome up there. We saw. I had some question marks over him for this year. Whether he's just going to be going for that 300th mark and then may peter out. But the look of him and the glint in his eye, the way he was playing those first two practice matches, he can smell something. I think Murph, and he's in for the long haul this year. And he was super in those two games and showed exactly what we need with that delivery into the forward line.
Yeah. Just want to throw a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons here. None of us actually saw the VFL game, but apparently Carroll absolutely cut it up. Is he in the mix for Williams' spot?
I think he's in the mix. I just think that I don't see where he fits in. I think it's either him or Eddie. I don't think he's going to be, brought in as a midfield option. Bam Bam did play a good game, so did Gibbons. So I think it's probably out of those two for the final spot, or let's say it's the Williams spot, because Williams would have been that lay down spot there. Dow's done enough in the two practice games to he's up and about. So yeah, for me the only issue whether they go for Kennedy or Gibbons.
Yeah, okay.
Is Eddie Betts to you the wrong selection? He's had a calf injury. He hasn't played any of the two major games. He played obviously VFL and did okay, but that's that's a VFL scratchy. Is it the wrong call to bring him in? It can really backfire if he lasts a quarter and then doesn't do goes down again.
At this stage, I'd rather Fogarty play than him, but the thinking is along the right path. He's a big game player. This is a big game. If he snags a couple of goals and brings the whole team alight, then that's the upside to it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting selection. I think that's pretty close to the mark. I can't see, obviously, Levi's fit. Harry's okay. They've said he'll play. In terms of any other injuries, Marchbeck's a little while away. Still, he's behind the eight ball in terms of our backs. I've got, obviously, Williamson on a wing. He's played on the sort of the half-back line in those two practice matches. I think you noted SBS, played all right against the Saints game. I was a little bit in the opposite direction. I still thought he was a bit like a rabbit in the headlights.
He's better up the ground. As soon as he got up the ground, he was really, really damaging. And he's one of those players that you want kicking into inside 50. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And again, the same with Williamson. I think he's better up the ground too, although Williamson one-on-one is probably a much better option than SBS. So he'll get some time up the ground. They'll all get some time up the ground. They're all sort of balancing their time between mid and back, as far as I know, in training. So they'll get an opportunity as well. Fisher, for me, I love what he's going to be doing up forward. He's set himself to be that small forward that we wanted. I want him to kick 40 or 50 goals. That'd be very, very nice. And we'll say Papley who after that. Really looking forward to seeing what Fish, JSOS and Eddie can do under the feet of Levi and Harry.
That's a big stat, Trevor. Well done.
Be nice. Your man, Fish.
Oh, Fisher's great. But is Stocker ready to go?
No, he's not ready to go. He's got to bide his time. He's got to perform consistently in the twos to earn his spot. He's really just come back. When you think about it, he hasn't played a proper game. He needs some real good time in the VFL to get some consistency going.
Yeah, this is a point here, Frank, that he can go through the middle as well, and that goes to my point of having the midfield and the forward line, most of it interchangeable, which is going to be extremely important given the decrease in rotations.
Okay, so Paddy Cripps put some more weight back on. They've got him primed and ready. He's fit. His shoulder's okay. Could this be the Paddy Cripps season that we wanted last year?
I think so. Yeah, he's primed and ready to go, back in the role that he's familiar with, comfortable with, and dominant in.
100% agree. I've even seen his kicking straighten up too. So that might
has, yeah.
It's in front of us.
Speaking of kicking straightened up, big hats off to Paddy Dow. He's really, taken it upon himself to work so hard on every aspect of his game, including his delivery by foot. And if you watched any of those pre-season practice matches, it's chalk and cheese to what we saw last time he was out in the football ground.
Yep. And I didn't think that he really needed to do too much. And I don't know if it was necessarily his delivery. It was just more of just taking that little extra step that he needed to take.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we? Yeah.
That came with, that comes with experience and playing and having that awareness and of time and space. So, that comes with playing and more time. So I think that's more to where Paddy Dow is.
Yeah, that's a fair call too. Just steady.
Okay, Oscar McDonald got our last spot on the list during the week. I think that was probably evident after his little stint against St Kilda, and maybe Harry and him might have made a little bit of a deal. You never know to work something out, but the best selection I think out of what we had available, the flexibility that he brings to our team. Obviously he played up forward in Harry's absence and kicked a couple of goals and looked lively, but we know he can play back. We've got a real hole in our team if we lose Wiedering or Liam Jones. So he'll definitely be a big a good addition if something happens in that space.
Yes, and yes. I don't agree with the decision.
Okay.
And there's nothing against Oscar. He's done everything right to get that last space. And if it was any other year, I would say it was absolutely his, and it'd be criminal not to give it to him. My caveat to this is the mid-season draft, and COVID has really stuffed up the professional development of so many kids that it could be in the first, half of the footy season this year that you will see someone absolutely pop out, and you will get a potentially someone who's a first round pick in the mid-season draft, and they're 10, 12-year player. So it's only this year where I would say go to the mid-season draft because you could pick up an absolute superstar. And the only competition that you've got in picking up these guys is other teams who have left a spot open in the mid-season draft.
What's the situation if something happens and we get someone on a long-term injury list? Are we then got a spot for in the mid-season draft?
That's a very good question. I think we would have, yeah.
So, I like your way of thinking, and I 100% agree with you that there's going to be some diamonds out there in that mid-season drafts. Maybe not the Josh DeLuca diamonds in the rough that we went for, but some other diamonds in the rough. But you've got to go with what you've got, I think, and I think he's going to be a good addition for us as a backup to those guys.
Any other season, walk-up start.
Fair point. I suppose you look at your list right now and you look at it from a perspective of where it is, and I think he fits into our list in terms of a backup, either back or forward. Is there going to be someone like that available in the mid-season draft? You don't know. Is it better to just go the better the devil you know? If you look at our list on a whole, I think we've got every position covered and backed up pretty strongly. Whether it's someone coming in as a replacement in the guts, whether it's a small forward, I think we've got it pretty much covered, except for that.
Yeah.
Except for places.
So here's from Andrew Lake to answer that question. We don't go to Google, we go to Andrew. If we have a long-term injury prior to the mid-season draft, we can participate. So there you go. That answers that categorically.
You doubted me?
Hey?
You doubted me?
Yeah.
I've actually got a line into Andrew. That's one of the new technology things of Carlton Live this year. I've got a direct line to Andrew to actually tell me if things are actually true or not.
But you're right in saying that we've got such a great list and such a mix. I made a point probably a couple of weeks ago now that you have a look at the up and coming midfield that we've got. You put Carroll, who I've mentioned, into that. You put the big lad in who's had an unfortunate setback during the pre-season, and Brody Kemp I'm thinking of, and you really you're really set up for the next 10, 12 years.
We hope so. Let's see what a couple of our awesome guests have to say. Matt Begg says Cripps at full forward will kick our John Toritich type of game with 3-7. Scotty, fresh off watching Maths and Carlton Live, says don't think you can play Eddie. First game, longer quarters and less rotations. Need a fit midfielder first few games. Pretty good point. If you looked at my team, though, I think we've got that covered. When you talk about Ed on the bench, you've got Nunes potentially in Dow. So I think we've got midfield covered. Eddie Betts won't play the whole game, but I think he'll work perfectly to come in and act as an impact player when we need him, and not just the impact player, but I think what he brings to the side too. If he's able to snag a few, and he didn't kick the goals we wanted to kick last year, but what he did was he set up a lot of goals for us.
Yeah,
so I think there's alone Eddie gets the nod for me. Sam Dash and Andrew Lake are on the same page. We are a ruckman short, in my opinion. That's a fair point too. We don't necessarily want, we've obviously got Tom down, and if something happens to Pitnet, then it's really Levi, isn't it? And then we've got Oscar McDonald moving into centre half forward, or Mitch McGovern, which is injured too. So we don't want to see people like Harry Mackay playing the ruck. So that's a fair point too in terms of rucks.
Yeah, but I would have gone. I think they've really missed a trick in not getting a ruckman onto the rookie list. I think that might have been a bit of a mistake, because that's where I put them, not on the senior list.
Sam Philp also is there available. He's there and about. I think he's injured at the minute. I think he's got a bit of a slight niggle, but he's there and about. We forget those kind of players. We forget that Josh Honey's waiting in the wing, and Philp, and there's a couple of others are waiting in the wing, ready to come on. Maybe this 23rd player, if it's an under 21, will give some opportunity for some of those guys to have a crack. Brody Kemp, it's really sad that Brody Kemp didn't get his run at it. He might have been putting his hand up for round 1 too if he didn't have that syndesmosis. Shannon Gore likes Murph half forward, allows some rotations to the middle or wing. Shannon, because you're at footy training, I'll let you off. But yes, that was exactly my point. I think he should probably stay at half forward. He might have other ideas about going into the guts this year, but for me, let's just see him do his stuff and maybe finish out the year, and maybe go into another year as a specialist half forward. Robert Bromley says, "Who is borrowing Zach's spot?" I like that terminology. I've gone with Kennedy over just over Gibbons. That's my go. Kennedy played some really good footy last year. People forget that. He played some really good, handy footy in the guts and was able to move forward and clunk a few. So I liked what he was able to do. Gibbo did too, and I think it's Gibbo didn't get all of his opportunity when it in the guts, but maybe he's hanging out for Murph to retire Gibbo, and then that'll be his spot moving forward.
Yeah. Cool.
Rob Gagliaccio says, "Welcome back, guys. You look well. Obviously, your screen must be a bit blurred, mate, because we're looking pretty dishevelled. I'm looking pretty dishevelled. Johnny's looking fantastic. He's got he's up there on the Gold Coast living the high life, while we're stuck in downtown Melbourne.
Sunshine Coast, mate.
Sunshine Coast. I'll get it right.
Yeah, loving life.
Okay, so Johnny doesn't know this yet, but he's got a bit of work to do. We are going to also, and you might have heard Johnny's great news earlier of having the great Peter Bazzusto as our special guest next week, which Johnny is amazingly organised. We can't wait to have a chat to him. Another thing we're going to do, probably just for this week, as a bit of a fun thing to do, is we are putting up a prize for anyone that can guess the correct scoreline for this Thursday night. It has to be the exact scoreline, whether it's you're picking Carlton or the Tigers to win. You'll have to pick the goals, behinds, and total score.
For both teams?
For both teams.
Yeah, and final score?
Sorry?
Final score?
Final score you'll need to pick. So you'll need to pick the exact final score as it's represented from the game. If you do so, we will give you a grand prize of $1,000.
Jesus Christ. Not from my back pocket, you're not.
If there's more than one winner, that will split. The prize will be split amongst you. So we'll announce that and put that on our Facebook page sometime tomorrow. So Johnny will put that up and he'll organise that to be on our website. You'll need to put your name and details into the website and your score. And if you happen to get the correct scoreline as it plays out, you will get, courtesy of Carlton Live and FIFO Capital, $1,000 cash to spend however you wish.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I do have some work to do. So, so just here with Justin, no, this is, hang on, just here, no, this is incorrect. It needs to be goals, points, score. Goals, points, score for both teams at the end of the game.
Correct. I know that's a little bit hard to do, but it's not impossible. You'll get one crack at it only. You can't put in multiple entries. We're not that rich to be able to make sure everyone can cover all bases. Who's got more time on their hands than whatever. But anyway, take note of our Facebook page. We'll stick that up tomorrow, and Johnny will put all the details up. He's going to be up all night fixing the website to make sure we can cope with all the demand. $1,000 will be up for grabs.
Brilliant. Great stuff.
Good on you, Norm. I appreciate that. You've prompted me. We're going to sign off shortly, but there's a couple of things we need to talk about. Levi Casbolt, life member. Really, really happy about that situation. Obviously, people know that I've got a bit of a man crush on Levi. It's more than his rugged good looks. I really admire the guy. He's struggled as a key forward in a shitty side for many, many years. He's gone on 1 year contracts. He's been shopped around. He's worked really hard on his game. He's got strong. He's probably been played out of position again as a key forward, being the only key forward. For him to get a life membership. Every Carlton footballer will know that every Carlton supporter will know he's a top guy, top family guy, and a committed Carlton man. So I was really happy to see Levi get his life membership during the week.
Yeah, good on him. We're just getting quite a few predictions here. Let me just say that your predictions here don't count. you'll have to register on the website and put your score in. These do not count. You see that Adam Parkinson's come in with one, Justin Matmore's come in with one. These do not count and are not eligible. You need to be eligible to enrol onto the website, and there will be a time limit on when you can put your guesses in.
Yes, if we see a lot of guesses with the exact same score at about 10:30 on Thursday night, we might get a little bit suspicious.
No, the contest will be closed probably an hour before the game.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that. Okay, a couple more questions before we sign off. Someone asked about Williamson on the wing. I didn't see that. I can't scroll down. But yes, I 100% agree. He's in my side on the wing. I'm not sure. I can't see. My scrolling feature's not too good, so sorry if I missed your questions.
Yeah, I can't see that one either.
A couple of other things I had to talk about. Mitch McGovern is obviously injured. There was people were making a big deal of it, like he wasn't available for selection, but I don't think he would have got selected anyway. For me, JSOS is in front of him in that spot. He was apparently been flying all pre-season, as they always do, and get that last-minute injury, but we hope that he comes back. I still think he can make a big impact in the side.
Yeah, but you talked about Stocker, and I reckon the exact same quote is with McGovern. Show it in the twos.
Yep, 100%. No player should be getting a walk-up start. I even though I don't think Eddie should play, I think he will play, but that's just a thing that I think from a club perspective that they will do. I don't think he should play, but I know they'll play him because of the fact that the Eddie factor.
Yep, agree with that. All right, let's sign this off.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. If you've got a ticket, we hope you have a good time there at the game. I'll hopefully be getting mine tomorrow at some stage. Otherwise, you might see an armed man down at the Ticket Tech office to take care of to keep your eye on the news tomorrow. What are you up to, Johnny? You're up to you said you're at the Noosa Tigers event?
Yeah, well, it's a very impromptu event that we decided on tonight at training. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a shindig down at the club, and like I said, they've just bought a new TV that you can see from Mars. So yeah, we'll be watching it there and having a few beers down there, which is great because it can be difficult in Queensland to get places to go and see the games on the big screen with other people.
Yep. Well, you have a fantastic night. I'm sure everyone else will. Stay tuned for the Heatley end, hopefully tomorrow night, which will be live again at 7 o'clock. Stay tuned for them. They've got some really good insights about the game on Thursday. They'll probably even have the teams, I would imagine, tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, really look forward to that. It is a great show.
All right, thank you very much. We will see you next week.
Buzz next week, 7:30.
We'll see you next week with a fantastic show. We'll be celebrating our win over the Tigers. John will have a tattoo on his forehead, and we'll be interviewing the great Peter Bazzusto. So good night, everyone, and go Blues.
Good night.